your Houston chiropractor, Dr. Gregory Johnson, and we have Joshua back here today with us, and this will be Joshua's third of 6 adjustments today. Joshua came in with a very unique set of signs and symptoms that I discussed with him during his initial history, and then I did a orthopedic neurological evaluation on him and came to a diagnostic impression that I needed to rule out pathology in his hip joints bilaterally. And so I went ahead and ordered x-rays on his hip joints, which include a frog leg view, to evaluate the health of his actual hip joints, which is where the femur meets the acetabulum in here. It's a ball and socket joint. It's called the hip joint. It's very large. And you can have different types of pathology in there, from degenerative joint disease, which is osteoarthritis, Legg-Calvé-Perthes disease, and avascular necrosis, which Legg-Calvé-Perthes disease is a result of avascular necrosis. Do you remember me telling you that the very first day?
Yes, sir.
So, you've been to other doctors, medical doctors and chiropractors before, trying to get this evaluated, and they've all told you what?
That it was just, my back was messed up, and it was just a link to that, and it was just my sciatica. That was pretty much it.
But then yesterday, after my history and examination, I sent you off for x-rays, and you went over and had those x-rays done.
Yes, sir.
We got the results of those back today, and you do in fact have signs of avascular necrosis in your femur heads bilaterally, which means both sides. And avascular necrosis, avascular means it's not getting blood supply. Necrosis means the cellular bony tissue is actually dying. So that's necrosis, cellular death. You can have cardiac necrosis, which is what you get after a heart attack due to lack of blood supply or oxygen. You can have avascular, meaning he's got a lack of vasculature supply into his femur head, causing necrosis of his bone cells. By the way, that's a good question for our anatomy and physiology series here. What is a bone cell called? I know, let's see if you do. And we're going to answer a question that I talked about yesterday for you too, which is homeostasis. Homeo, not homo, but homeo means similar. Stasis means stable. So homeostasis is a stable internal environment that is operating symbiotically with itself innately, with all the systems functioning and connecting with the other systems to keep the body at a normal, stable state of function. That is homeostasis. That is lack of dis-ease. We call that in chiropractic the body is functioning at ease, because homeostasis is prevalent. So therefore you're in good health if you have good homeostasis. However, if your homeostasis is disrupted by some pathology or interference in one of the systems, including the spine, the biomechanics, and the nervous system, it can send your body into a state of dis-ease, which is what we call it in chiropractic, or you probably know it more frequently as disease, which is what the medical profession calls disease processes of the body. But that's actually, the body is not functioning at 100% of its optimal homeostasis. It's functioning with aberrant systems going on. And in this case, with Joshua's hip here on his femur heads, the lack of vascular supply to his femur heads has created a dis-ease known as avascular necrosis. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to send him out for MRIs of his hip joints, because if he truly does have avascular necrosis, that'll show up even more so on the MRI. And also, that there is absolutely nothing that I can do as a chiropractor to fix his avascular necrosis. But tell them what you told me earlier, Joshua. This is only your third adjustment. You came in here yesterday, your first day, walking with this, right?
Yes, sir.
Show them how you were using this.
Basically, I would lean on it like this when I was standing and
To help take pressure off your hip joints.
Help off both of them, really, I guess.
And what did I tell you to do with this yesterday?
To go throw it in the Gulf.
Gulf of Mexico. So here's where we're going to put it today. In the trash can. All right, so now that we've got that all done, let's show them how we checked you out and help. Oh, by the way, can you share with them what you shared with me this morning about how you feel right now compared to when you came in first thing yesterday, and you know that about what you said about being worth the trip down here just to feel as good as you do right now and walk as good as you are?
Yeah, I said that if by Wednesday, by my last treatment, if I feel like I do right now, even a little bit of pain that I have still, which is probably just a soreness, I'm happy. It was worth the 13-hour trip down here, and I would do it again.
And you've not had any other doctors, medical or chiropractic, diagnose this condition on you yet, right?
No, they've all just said it was just a part of my
sciatica
back and just left it alone.
Right. Which that hadn't done anything to help you. That's why you came down here, right?
Yes, sir.
So, you know, what people come here from all over the world to get is my knowledge and diagnostic skills, as well as my adjusting skills through my experience in 37.5 years of practicing chiropractic. And that's why you came down here, right? Because
Yes,
you
sir.
watched our YouTube videos and listened to my educational stuff on them and figured
Yes, sir.
that I knew what I was talking about.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Okay, let's show them how we do that then. Let's have you close your eyes and flex your head forward and backwards for me, Joshua. And then neutral. So those two words that make up homeostasis are Greek. A lot of medical / chiropractic, anatomical and physiological terminology is either from the Latin or the Greek. And so here's your next question. What is the Greek name for chiropractic? What does chiropractic mean in Greek terms? I already know the answer to it. Let's see if you do. And we're going to name off a couple of you guys who answered some of the questions close to being right. The very first system to develop in the body, by the way, is the nervous system that develops in the early embryonic stages by forming what's called the neural fold. Now there's two portions of that called the node, the primordial node, which is the brain, and then next is the primordial streak, and that's the spinal cord. So the central nervous system is what is developed first in the human embryo, and that consists of the neural fold, which has the primitive node being the brain and the primitive streak being the spinal cord. So now you have your central nervous system. The second thing to develop in the embryonic stage is the heart, and that develops off of the nervous system. So as you can tell early on in our development as human beings, everything comes from the nervous system, including the circulatory system. We had one gentleman answer, I think, on one of our videos yesterday, that the circulatory system was the first system that was in the fetus. That is not correct. It is the nervous system. The nervous system controls and coordinates the function of every other organ, muscle, tissue, and cell in your body. And that's why chiropractic is so effective in helping people achieve their optimal health potential, or homeostasis, as we call it. That's health and well-being. That's his body functioning internally with his own innate intelligence, controlling all that, which is his nervous system, by the way. Innate intelligence is the inborn intelligence of the body. Innate intelligence, the nervous system, controlling and coordinating the function of the body into a state of homeostasis. Okay, so he's got a little bit of forward head posture still that we're working on, a little bit of right translation, but his pelvis is right down the middle today. You see that in the mirror? Mm-hmm. So that's looking good. You're not standing on your right leg as much today either. Okay, let's do this one first today, Joshua. You know, the only thing that can really be done for avascular necrosis in the practical realm of things is total hip joint replacement, but Joshua is way too young for that. I told him, you know, today that I could not fix his avascular necrosis, but that the treatment that I'm providing to him with the adjustments of his entire spine and extremities, including both hip joints, which I've adjusted, this won't hurt his avascular necrosis. There you go. Boy, that was a home run. Yes, sir. They heard that one over at the Hyatt. Whew. Okay, I got you. There you go. Good. Good job. I think we did a video on your first visit yesterday too, didn't we? I haven't had a chance to put it up yet. Yeah. Okay, let's turn sideways and push yourself up with your left arm. Bring your legs over to the side. There you go. That's the way you always want to get up, sideways. And then we're going to have you come over here and lay on your stomach. Yeah, he's walking tons better. So even though I can't fix his avascular necrosis chiropractically, we can still improve his body's biomechanical configurations in his spine and his pelvis, which it can influence the actual hip joint alignment. So just lining up his biomechanics of his spine, pelvis, and extremities can help him with diminished pain and symptoms from it, even though we're not fixing the cause of his avascular necrosis. Which that usually comes from some sort of previous trauma or repetitive trauma. There you go. Yes, sir. Okay, I got one more. There you go. I don't know if you noticed this, by the way, but his legs are exactly even today. And this shouldn't really hurt your low back at all.
Mm-mm.
Or your pelvis. Did it hurt anywhere?
No.
Okay. Slide down this way just a little bit, Joshua. There you go, good. Okay, let's turn you on your back. You know, so whether you go to a medical doctor or a chiropractor, it is really important for the healthcare provider that you choose to do a thorough history and examination so that they can come to a diagnostic impression of the patient and make the appropriate treatment plan based on that diagnostic impression, or investigate further with other diagnostic testing if necessary. So today we're actually referring Joshua out for MRIs on his hips. Slide down this way about 1 inch. And put both arms straight out to the side. And yes, I am adjusting him exactly the same way I do all of my patients who come in here, because I'm adjusting each and every vertebra of the spine, pelvic bones, the hip joints, knees. There you go. See, now when I did that the first day, it hurt him more because he was stuck in there like super glue. And we broke that loose. That's called adhesions. Let this one go too. Yes, sir. Good job. Okay. Now let's set you up and face that way. Sideways, yep. So even if we're able to give Joshua enough relief that he can live his life without so much pain and suffering, That's a huge plus for me, and hopefully for you.
It is.
And hopefully that way too, we can allow your body to regain its innate function and help to create more of a homeostatic environment in your internal function environment to help your body heal itself, and that is totally within the realm of possibility. So your body can heal itself of anything. That's what it was made to do. That's true homeostasis, that is health, and that is what chiropractic is all about. Okay, let's stand up here in front of the mirror. Let's have you flex forward and backwards for me. And then neutral. Take a look at that, my friend. Pull these up and back. This is still your homework right here. See, standing on both legs evenly though. That's in just 2 adjustments.
His quality of life's already improved. It's not like from yesterday.
Tristan, would you mind pointing the camera at Raquel and having her repeat that, please? Raquel, you're his wife, right? Rachel, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Okay, you can relax.
His quality of life has improved so much just from our first visit yesterday. Even between the first and second, it was a total 180 degree turn.
Yeah. And he's walking better.
He's walking so much better. He's not carrying that cane.
Yeah. Yep. You're way too young to be carrying that cane around. I'm gonna throw that in the Gulf of Mexico before you leave town.
Yes, sir.
All right, so Joshua, what would you have to share with our YouTube audience around the world about your experience here at Advanced Chiropractic Relief and what's happened here, the first 3 adjustments that you've had, including your history examination and my evaluation of you and what I recommended and what we've done so far?
I would say that if you have any kind of issue that you've been seeing or about, and they say you're gonna have surgery, or you just, like me, can't get any answers, find any way possible to make it down here to his office and get it taken care of sooner than later.
Yeah, that's the mistake a lot of people wait to, is they wait too long, and that makes the condition become chronic, which is duration of over 3 months versus an acute, which is like a car accident or sprained ankle type of trauma. So your problem has become chronic for you now.
Yes.
So what we're trying to do is to restore some health and homeostasis to your body, innate intelligence, so your body can heal itself and you can function better, which evidently you're already doing according to Rachel.
Yes, sir.
And yourself even too. You're the primary beneficiary. You're the secondary beneficiary.
Yes.
You don't have to hear him complain so much either, I bet.
It's just seeing him walk around better.
Makes you happy, huh?
It's a blessing.
It is a blessing, that's right. We do give God all the honor and all the glory for that too.
Yes, sir.
Because he's the one healing you.
Yes, sir.
Very good. Well, thank you for sharing your story with everyone. This is an important subject because there's a lot of people out in this world that are suffering from hip pain, not sciatica or low back pain that's creating sciatica, called radiculopathy, but actual hip joint pain or pathology that they're suffering from. And it's important to get that diagnosed and treated properly.
I
So,
always felt like I had something else wrong with my hip, but nobody ever.
other than what they were telling you.
Other than what they were telling me, and nobody ever really wanted to look into it for whatever reason. So.
Right. That's the first thing I did, was to look
Yes, sir.
into it, wasn't it?
Yes, sir.
Very good. Well, thanks for sharing that again, everybody. This is your Houston chiropractor, Dr. Gregory Johnson, coming to you from Advanced Chiropractic Relief in Houston, Texas. We'll see y'all soon.